Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Scrolling with Hayley. I'm Hayley Karania. Flock cameras are popping up all over the United States, and patriots who want privacy are taking matters into their own hands. Then you can bet on just about anything these days: sports, politics, even natural disasters. And Oregon lawmakers say this is a slippery slope that could lead to arson and other crimes. Plus, a South Florida steakhouse is giving a whole new meaning to strip steak. Class Soiree Steakhouse is offering a nudist experience to bring in new business. I'm going to blind react to some videos. If we have time, I'm going to answer your burning questions. All that and so much more on this episode of Scrolling with Hayley. But first, subscribe, tell your friends about the show, tell your family about the show, drop it in the group chat, share this episode to your socials, and I will repost it. And please support our sponsors. Today, I want to tell you about Quo. Most customers aren't waiting around for a call back. Maybe they're trying to book an appointment. Maybe they're looking for a quote. Maybe they need help right now. Whatever it is, if nobody answers, they're calling the next business on the line. That's why this episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the business phone system built so that you never miss a call. With Quo, all your calls, texts, and voicemails live in one place, so your whole team can jump in, see the full conversation history, and respond fast without confusion. It's trusted by over 90,000 businesses to stay reachable and look professional every single day. Setup takes minutes on any device. You can keep your existing number and scale your team without any IT headaches. Plus, Quo's built-in AI agent handles after-hours calls, answers questions, and even books appointments, so opportunities never slip through the cracks. Money's on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/scroll. That is QUO.com/scroll. Put those phones on Do Not Disturb. The show starts now. We have covered this flock camera debate. And are they crime-fighting tools or are they spooky surveillance devices? I'd argue that they're both. And now I'm leaning towards spooky surveillance devices. And when we covered this the first time, I said that I assume I'm being tracked all the time because I am. We're being tracked all the time. It shouldn't be like that, but this is the reality we live in. The argument for flock cameras, even some conservatives are on board with flock cameras. They say that this is law enforcement. They can tap into this database of stored footage that's held for 30 days of every license plate and bumper sticker and identifier on your vehicle, and this will help them track down dangerous criminals. Is that true? Of course. Can the technology be used for good? Of course. But we've also seen this flock camera database be abused by law enforcement officers who want to stalk their exes and track their spouses and whatnot. And there are over 50 cases of cops that we know of so far abusing this data for their own personal vendettas. So let's argue that in a perfect world, flock cameras are only being used by well-meaning police officers who want to fight crime. That's great. But what about this? This guy, a Wisconsin man, was accused of domestic violence. He got a failure to appear. So he's on law enforcement radars. And using flock cameras, law enforcement tracked his vehicle. They noticed that he was driving back and forth between Wisconsin and Michigan. And because of that, they searched his car for marijuana and found it. And he was going to Michigan to buy weed where it's legal and then take it back home. And it turned out that the cops never ended up charging him for the bail jumping. They only ever charged him for the possession of marijuana. But they only got him on that charge because they were tracking him because he had committed, allegedly, another crime. I'm not defending this dude. He sounds like a total bum. But what precedence does this set for the rest of us? Because I did something similar when I was living in New York City. Andrew was just like, really? No. Similar, but not. When I was living in New York City, it's illegal to have pepper spray on you. It's illegal to buy it. You can't purchase it. If you got caught with it, I don't think you would really necessarily get in trouble, but you can't purchase it in New York City. If you used it on someone and you had a reason to defend yourself, I think it'd be fine, but you certainly can't buy it in New York. And it's also next to impossible to carry in New York. So if you're a young woman like I was, and I wanted to protect myself or walk home from work late at night, which sometimes I did, or take the subway late at night, which sometimes I did. I got off of work at 11 p.m. So how else am I going to get home, right? I would want to protect myself with something, except I couldn't get pepper spray. So what we would have to do, myself, my friends, my coworkers, we would have to find people that lived in New Jersey. We would send, we would order it on whatever website, Amazon or whatever. We would send the pepper spray to someone who lived in New Jersey because it was legal to buy in New Jersey. And then we would have our friends bring it across the river to us in New York. So I get it. This isn't weed necessarily, but...
Are you sure this isn't code for weed?
It is not.
They're calling it pepper spray nowadays. You're so in with the hip crowd.
Mace, marijuana, No, I'm serious
Both
though.
M's.
I'm serious. This is one of those things where, am I a criminal that deserves to go to jail? No. But I did sort of break the law, I guess. So it's sort of similar. And this is the kind of story that will also give ammo to the pro-choicers, by the way, who will say that this technology can be used to track women who travel across state lines to get abortions. And as much as I disagree with abortions, I don't want people being tracked, regardless of what they're doing across state lines. I think that we deserve privacy. But if a cop has a warrant to get this data, then so be it. The issue with Flock is that you don't necessarily need a warrant to access it. Ben Jordan is a YouTuber who exposed a leak in the Flock camera database where not just law enforcement can access it. He says he got access to live streams very easily. Watch.
A few weeks ago, using a commercial search engine, I very easily found the administration interfaces for dozens of Flock safety cameras. I shared this information with 404 Media, and with John Gaines' help, that number quickly grew to nearly 70. None of the data or video footage was encrypted. There was no username or password required. These were all completely public-facing for the world to see, and some of them still are. You don't have to be an expert to find and gain access to this. You don't even have to type anything in to see every single person, vehicle, and activity that took place in these locations in the last 31 days. Whether you wanted to watch this footage live in real time or look at footage from a month ago, you could just point and click your way to it like you were watching Netflix. You could even open up the live streams in VLC or cast it to a television. Making any modification to the cameras is illegal, so I didn't do this, but I had the ability to delete any of the video footage or evidence by simply pressing a button. I could see the paths where all of the evidence files were located on the file system, and I could see their hashes and signatures. Some of the devices we saw were the familiar looking Falcon cameras that you see all over the country, but the majority of these were Flock's new Condor cameras, which are designed to detect and track people. They're PTZ cameras, meaning pan, tilt, zoom, and they quite literally use AI to zoom in and follow you around whether you're a person of interest or not.
Keyword, whether you're a person of interest or not. And I think this is very creepy just to see that video that he showed. Of course, he blurred the faces, but there was a kid in what looked to be like a parking lot of a playground type thing. And it's just a kid skipping down the sidewalk. And it makes you wonder if law enforcement can use this for good, great. And if this is easy enough to access, I mean, human traffickers can, pedophiles can, people, evildoers can find this footage, these live streams, and that's very scary.
Justin had a comment that has got me thinking a little bit. Would you rather the government have this and then be able to watch you, or have it be public so everybody can access these cameras at all time, and you just kind of have to live with the idea that somebody could use it for wrong?
My answer is neither.
Well, I mean, neither.
You're making me choose between a rock and a hard place here. Do I want the government to spy on me at all times, or do I want other creepy people to spy on me? The thing about having it have access to everyone is that it sort of goes unchecked. I think what we're seeing when it's only, I say only because, I mean, this was a leak. Maybe this isn't how it normally is, but the way that it's designed is so that law enforcement agencies and certain governments and HOAs can purchase this. It's a private company, and they can decide what communities get Flock cameras and where they go. But when police officers abuse the system, like we've seen, there's a checks and balances where these law enforcement officers who are using it for wrong get reprimanded. If it's just open to the public, are people going to get reprimanded for misusing it? How could you prove that it's being misused if it's just like a leak and hackers and everyone can access it?
Yeah, I hate surveillance.
I know, me too.
There's no win for me personally, but
Right.
It is interesting that I guess I would rather everybody be able to have it than just certain people control who has it, I suppose, is my opinion.
I get that too. The logic that you're using is like the Second Amendment, right? If the government can have guns, why are we bringing a knife to a gunfight? I get it.
Yeah. But I guess, at the end of the day, I think everybody can agree no cameras is the big dub.
Exactly. Like, this is a really difficult question to answer. And the question is, for these live streams, is there any interest in the whereabouts of random people? And the answer to that is yes. And it might not be so random after all. Obviously, there are people who are fascinated with live streams. There's I'm sure you're all aware of Shake Shack, that company. And I've probably told this story on the show before, but I was able to sit in on an interview with the CEO, Danny Meyer. And he has a fascinating story about how they started their entire business. Now it's a fast food chain that's incredibly successful, but it started out as a art installation. And it was in Madison Square Park in New York City, and it was across from this 5-star Michelin star restaurant. I believe it's 11 Madison Park is the name of the restaurant. And the artist that they commissioned this art piece said, I want my piece of art, my sculpture, to be a working hot dog cart. And what they did was they went across the street to this Michelin star restaurant and they said, hey, if you are throwing out any of your meat, please don't do that. We'll make hot dogs out of it and sell it out of this art installation, essentially. And it became so popular because the food was so high quality and they were selling it for cheaper because it was just like scraps. It became so popular that obviously that became their flagship store. And not only that, the lunch line would get so long that they ended up putting a live stream on their website so that workers, corporate people in New York could say, let me check the Shake Shack line before I go. So do I have time to go now? Oh, the line's short. Let me run now. So there is obviously an interest in live streams. It's not always nefarious, but what if the intentions are nefarious? What happens when the flock cameras are strategically placed to catch gun owners coming and going from the gun range? This is happening right here in the Gunshine State. Watch.
All right, you ain't gonna believe this one. I didn't believe it either. Somebody told me about it. I had to come out and see it for myself. And I was amazed when I finally saw it. So check this out. I am in the middle of downtown nowhere in the Ocala National Forest. It's like 2 million acres of brushes and trees and all that stuff. They log it. There's bears out here. Absolute middle of nowhere in Marion County. They have a pistol and rifle range out here. I come out to the range and this is what I find. There are freaking flock cameras at the gun range. This is the entrance to the gun range. So they got you coming in. They also got you going out. Today's Wednesday, so the gun range is closed until 2. So there's nobody here. Now these are in the driveway to the gun range. They're not out on the road. This is only catching cars and trucks coming in the driveway to the gun range, and right there's the range. Unbelievable. I did send a records request to FWC for information on the flock cameras and the placement here. I've yet to get a response. I'll let you know if I do get a response. But if you come to the Ocala gun range, just understand that you're going to be on the flock camera. And who comes to the gun range? Well, of course, gun owners, people that are shooting. So they have a record of people who are coming to the gun range and going to the gun range. As far as I know, this isn't a big place for crime. I know they had a couple robberies out here years ago, but I haven't heard anything since.
Lieutenant Dan 8 in the chat says, flock that. And I tend to agree. Flock that.
We're positive that the gun range itself didn't put those as security
No,
cameras.
we're not positive.
Okay.
But that is a good question. I feel like maybe they would use different security cameras.
Because I do know there are a few...
Aside from tracking license plates, like it just seems...
There are a few HOAs in the area that have them outside of neighborhoods just because they're well-designed security systems.
Coming in and out of
Yeah.
HOAs. Also, more likely that it's local law enforcement and police departments that are putting them, but that would also give me pause because, to the guy's point in this video, you don't see a lot of crime at gun ranges. This isn't like a high crime area. This also looks like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Also, a lot of gun guys
Respectfully.
aren't super keen on being filmed and tracked.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's possible that the gun range put them up, but I don't know. Like, what business does Flock Safety have, pointing their license plate readers at law-abiding gun owners to track their whereabouts? And again, that is the only purpose of those Flock cameras. It's not like they're facing the road. They're not facing, where like the public is. It's just where people are going in and out of this gun range. So I think that that's suspect. I mean, they're going to know who has a gun, when they're practicing, what car they're driving, where they're off to next, and where they live. Essentially, you can track people wherever they go now. Not that hasn't been a thing. Like CCTV footage has been a thing, but these flock cameras are everywhere. They are everywhere. And you can even look on dflock.com, which we'll get to. But I urge people to go look and see where the flock cameras are in your town. And if you want to take a different route, you can. Andrew asked me, like, what is the purpose of knowing where they are? Well, at least you know that you're being tracked. Awareness and knowledge is power. But yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to not be tracked by flock, you could do your due diligence by creating some different routes around so you could avoid it, I guess. But again, if this data is only being used by cops with great intentions, then great. But what about dirty cops? What about if the government gets it in the government, and we saw this during COVID, what if the government turns on the people and they're using this and they have this huge database of where your car has been for the last 30 days, and who knows where that footage goes or that data goes after the 30 days? I mean, they say that it goes into the ether, gets deleted, whatever, who knows where it goes. So if you're interested in seeing where the flock cameras are in your neighborhood or in your town or whatever, you can go to DFlock. So this is what it looks like, the website. And it says 126,529 LPRs, mapped in the area. And that is automatic license plate readers. And they are AI-powered cameras that capture, analyze images of all passing vehicles, and it stores your car's location, it stores the time, the date, the car's make and model, the color, and any identifying features that you may have on your car, like a bumper sticker. And you could see in this photo, in this example, this truck has a Raiders sticker on it, and it says Raiders sticker. So it has a back rack, it has the license plate number, it's a gray Toyota Tacoma, it's got the time and the place. And I mean, I guess you could say this is for fighting crime. If this Raiders fan ever decides to go cross state lines and get some weed, he can nab them. But people in the chat are saying, how is this legal? And that's bullshit.
I know this is very naive to say, so I just need to preface that. But I do think about, in Florida, we have this thing called silver alerts. So when people with dementia take their car and get lost,
Yeah.
they'll post their license plate and make and model. I wonder if these are being used for that kind of thing. Because, like, to me, then I'm like, oh,
I'm sure they can.
that's mildly helpful, but then you have to weigh the pros and the cons. But, like, seeing this, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
And I believe that this information then goes into, and I've never been on the back end of flock safety. I don't know. I don't have a flock camera. I don't have access to it. but it seems like it's somewhat of a searchable database. So if you were looking for a gray Toyota Tacoma, you could put that in and all of them would come up. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People see the good in it and they think, well, this is great for society. This is going to keep us safer. But again, just because it can be used for good doesn't mean it can't be used for evil. And we've already seen that. And again, this is, where is this, Atlanta?
Yeah, hot Atlanta.
So we pulled up all the flock cameras in Atlanta. There's 6,610 flock cameras. There's a lot of flock cameras. And I mean, that is just like a outward view when you pull out. But when you go in, I mean, they're all over the place. It seems like they're on every intersection, multiple cameras per intersection. They're on main roads, they're on back roads. And like we saw with the gun range in Florida, they're in random places as well. It's not just on the main roads. They're kind of on the back roads also. And if you ask Flock CEO Garrett Langley about this database, DFlock, he says that they're terroristic organization. Watch.
You've got organizations like the ACLU and the EFF who take an above-board approach to fight for their point of view. And thankfully, we live in a beautifully democratic, capitalistic country where we can fight in court. And I have a lot of respect for those groups because they have reasonable debates and we follow the law. And then unfortunately, there's terroristic organizations like DFlock, whose primary motivation is chaos. They are closer to Antifa than they are anything else. And that, I think, is unfortunate because we don't want chaos, or I don't want chaos. I like law and order. I like a society that has a bedrock of safety. So for those groups, I think it's just disappointing that they haven't chosen a more constructive mannerism to try to get what they want, which they have a right to have, but that's why we have a democratically elected process, right? Like we're not forcing flock on anyone. Elected officials know that as a community, you want to be safe.
They're not forcing it.
I have personal breaking news. My mom just texted me because she's a big fan of your show, by the way.
Hi.
And she said, the flock camera at the neighborhood across our street, they used it to catch somebody who was robbing cars at night. And she's like, we love the...
And that's great.
Yeah. It's so...
And then the government turns on us, and then it's not great. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's this catch-22. Like, are people going to be safer? Yeah, probably. And then also, when they decide to, I don't know, kill us all, they're going to use it against us. The data's there. They know exactly where we are at all times, which someone else in the chat posed the question, isn't that the way that it is now anyway? And yeah, it kind of is. So why should we care though? I mean, the CEO says that simply knowing where the cameras are on the same level as Antifa. Antifa, the activists, I can't even call them activist groups. They're a domestic terrorist organization. They throw Molotov cocktails into federal buildings and they throw bricks at law enforcement officers. I don't really see the correlation between them and me going onto the DFlock website and just seeing where the cameras are. And he also says, again, that flock isn't being forced on anyone, but they're up all over the country and I had no say in it. But then again, this is a tool that law enforcement agencies are using. I guess HOAs are using. Maybe if you're in an HOA, there's a meeting about it or they let you know, or maybe they don't. I don't know.
I said before, this topic gets me pumped.
HOAs?
No, not HOAs. The flock cameras, because it is one of the biggest gray areas, I feel like, right now, because in my head I just keep thinking this makes civilization safe. But in the wrong hands, this could go south just immediately.
Yeah.
Like, no questions asked.
Right.
Immediately bad.
And if just looking at where the cameras are located is domestic terrorism, according to the CEO, I wonder what he would say about these guys. This couple is doing their part. They're based in St. Pete, and this is the St. Pete Flock Camera Blocker Brigade. That's what I'm calling them, but take a look at this. So this is a man and his wife. This is their date night or date day, and they've got a little sign that says down with flock, and they are blocking the flock camera with the sign. So they're doing their part. They're doing their part. It's the little things, and they've got their beach chairs out. There's probably some wine and some beer in that tumbler. Me and who?
There's
Me and who?
There's like this reality where there's a very serious crime that happens and they can't find them because this couple's sitting outside.
Yeah, if anyone wants to take me on a date and they're looking for an idea, sitting outside in front of a flat camera and blocking it, it's an idea.
Romantic.
It's an activity. This next guy took it a step further and allegedly destroyed multiple flock cameras in his West Virginia town. And then when the local news posted this story to their socials, thousands of netizens backed him up. Watch.
A wild story tonight where it appears nearly 20,000 people have vouched for the whereabouts of a man accused of destroying flock cameras in West Virginia. Thousands of people have publicly said they were with or saw 20-year-old Wesley Jackson during the time he was accused of the crime, with comments such as, "Couldn't be him. He was helping me replace the roof on a homeless shelter. And I saw him serving at a soup kitchen at the time of the incident." He has pleaded not guilty to the crimes against him.
I like that. I love when the internet comes together for good and they all say, no, he couldn't have been destroying flock cameras. I saw him. He saved a young girl from a burning car and he, whatever. Well, I don't condone destruction of property. I think this guy and the others across the country who are blocking or destroying the flock cameras have good intentions. And the intention is to prevent a surveillance state. Unfortunately, we're already living in one. Thanks to all the technologies that we already have, we have created a digital panopticon, which is an 18th century prison designed in a circle so that inmates police themselves. Look at this.
Prison cells were arranged in a circle and kept brightly lit. Then they built a tower at the center with windows on every side and dropped in a single guard. The tower was kept in a shadow, hiding the guard from view. This meant he could see the prisoners, but they could not see into the tower. So they never knew when they were being watched, which kept them on edge, unable to tell if the guard had his back turned or was staring right at them. This forced hundreds of prisoners to behave at all times, even with just one guard on duty.
So that's what we're living under right now. This isn't any different. We're essentially prisoners. We have this illusion of privacy and this illusion of freedom, but the flock camera panopticon is not just policing ourselves into driving the speed limit or not committing violent crime or even petty theft. That may be the case today, but who decides what else they will look for? Case in point, the cameras pointed at the gun ranges. There are others pointed at playgrounds. So who decides at this private company or the companies that are employing this private company, what is a crime worth tracking someone for? I'll throw out an example. During COVID, I didn't get vaccinated. I'm going into the conspiratorial realm because when conservatives get conspiratorial, it's actually true. And it ends up happening just further down the line, just a few months or years down the line. So let's just say something like COVID happens again. Like I didn't get vaccinated. Let's say we lived in a flock camera world back then. In an alternate reality, could flock cameras prove that I never drove myself or walked myself to the doctor to get the jab? Maybe. Would we have an authoritarian government that would care so deeply about vaccinating the entire public that they would go to those lengths? We kind of lived under that. So who's to say what kind of technology a government like that would use to keep us under their thumb? And what about protesters on both sides of the aisle? Can flock cameras be used to track the whereabouts of January 6ers or Antifa or ICE agents? We already see groups like Antifa and No Kings and whatever the hell they're called, these like Soros-backed groups and whatever, these dark money groups, they're already tracking ICE agents and they have these systems. So if they can hack into the flock camera live streams, why wouldn't they use that? They can. And if this data is not encrypted and it's as easy as to access as this YouTuber claimed, then what is stopping people with bad intentions from abusing it? Absolutely nothing. And the cancel culture goalposts are always moving. So if the cancel culture mob, who is never satisfied, decides that you're doing something or saying something wrong or racist or xenophobic or homophobic or transphobic or bigoted or privileged or Republican coded or unvaccinated or whatever, you're already being shunned for the way that you think. Cancel culture and its moral superiority mixed with big tech already polices the way that we think and speak and express ourselves. And people course correct. This is having an effect on how humans communicate. For people to speak freely now, they have to use certain social media platforms like X, Truth Social, and people tend to not have their name or their face attached to the account. So now we have faceless accounts that are indistinguishable from bots. Not that they have bad intentions, not that they are bots, but they're free to speak their minds with no consequences. I mean, maybe they would get their account banned potentially if they kept saying crazy stuff, but they really have no consequences of losing their job per se, like we saw in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder and all these people that were, egging it on and glorifying that, because no layperson can look up who Patriot 123 is, and if their profile picture is a flag, like nobody knows who that is. They have anonymity. And faceless accounts can definitely act different than the accounts of people whose faces are attached. I see this all the time. I get hate comments from people who don't have photos, and it's usually someone saying that I look ugly or something, and then how convenient is it that I don't know what they look like? I can only assume that they're as ugly as their personality. But regardless, if the faceless account is a bully or not, it's ironic that the only way that people feel free to express themselves, at least on social media now, is to hide. That's not free. That's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech should be protected, but people don't feel that way. So we're really not free to speak, and we really don't have any privacy. And regardless of flock cameras, this is already happening. We live in a world where, in the comfort of our own homes, we welcomed in technology like Ring cameras and Amazon Alexas and Google Homes and Nest products and any number of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi devices that connect to the internet, and then all of its consequences. And this woman has a theory about all of us being on our phones and recording everything all the time. Watch.
What if the rise of influencer culture is like deep state surveillance propaganda? What if they're just getting us to put the camera on ourselves and film everything we're doing all the time? What if they're just paying us to make these viral videos when someone freaks out on an airplane, because now they're reinforcing us just filming each other? They're just outsourcing their surveillance. We do it for them. And then they still get to collect all the data for free and use it to control and profit off of us. No? Am I crazy? I mean, they're encouraging little kids to want to aspire to have their job to be to film themselves all the time. Filming in public. That's the job that they're aspiring to do, is just filming themselves and everyone all the time.
I mean, how many times have we talked about this on the show, how we hate that influencers film themselves out in public and people are in the back. Again, there's no privacy. Even if you are not personally participating in influencer culture, you can be a byproduct of it. You can be in the back of someone's ad unknowingly. You didn't consent to it.
I see this a lot with like Twitch streamers walking around Miami where these whole camera crews, they like walk up and you're just like, oh, cool.
Right, I'm live.
Awesome. Sick. Love
I'm
this.
live right now.
GG in the chat, gang. How's it going?
Yeah, totally. And then it's like, oh, well, I don't want to be on camera. You're already on camera. It's like
I've already lost.
Guerrilla warfare. Yeah. So I think the fear of having a negative digital footprint is causing people to censor themselves. And people are crushing themselves under the invisible weight of having to be perfect all the time. And I don't really know how anyone is going to run for office ever again. I'm sure you all remember Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice, and that whole confirmation hearing process where people were coming out of the woodwork saying that he would throw ice chips at a bar. I mean, imagine if there were cell phones at the time. I mean, no one would ever be able to run for office ever again. I mean, how are young people going to run for office when we had Snapchat? And I don't know, I did stupid stuff at bars, and I don't know, I was in high school, I did stupid stuff. And everything is on camera now. There's proof of everyone being an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't run for office. I remember you posted on your Snapchat story.
In 8th grade.
Belligerent.
In 8th grade, you did this. In 11th grade, you did this. It's like a map of everyone's mistakes.
Scroll back and see me breaking into pools to plank. Immediate trouble.
Right, but this is why people are so quick to bend to the cancel culture mob, because they don't want to lose any social currency. And that's why young people posted black squares during COVID. They share liberal infographics to their Instagram stories so that everyone knows what side they're on. They're afraid of being canceled. And this concept of social credit was featured in a Black Mirror episode 10 years ago. It's called Nosedive, starring Bryce Dallas Howard. And this is one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes because it was so close to reality, and now it is. Watch.
Are your ratings not where you want them to be? How are you measuring up with upscale people? People with higher ratings are proven to be more successful, more confident, and lead happier lives. If you're not getting the ratings you want, we can help you turn it around. Here at Reputelligent, we give you what you need to improve your popularity arc, increase your sphere of influence, and get the upvotes you need to live the life you want. A healthy life. A life of success and fulfillment. A life of joy and passion. A life of true happiness.
The future is bright. The future is bright, and the future is now, because this social credit system is absolutely true. There are multiple scenes in this episode where, someone has a bad day and no one wants to interact with this person. Every interaction in this fictitious world is for sale, and the price is your social credit score. So if you spill coffee on someone, you get downvoted. If you interact with the wrong kinds of people, you get downvoted. If you do something nice for someone, you get upvoted. And based on this score, you will be able to live in the nicest neighborhood or get a good job. It's, 10 years ago, this was a piece of fiction based loosely on credit scores and social media influence and mixing those two things together. And today it is a reality. And we can also be charged different prices based on what our data says about us. And it is called surveillance pricing. Watch this.
A couple months ago, I found out about this thing called surveillance pricing, where these companies and more charge you a different price and me a different price and everybody a different price based on who they think you are. It's like price tags are dead now. And I wanted to put it to the test. So I called my brother, my mom, and my best friend. Go to Target and buy Spam.
Okay.
How much is it?
$4.99.
My price is $4.59.
That's bullshit, dude.
We're gonna order the exact same ride.
Okay.
Scheduled for tomorrow at noon.
From where?
We do it from Target Field to the airport.
Here's my prices. $36.94 for the UberX.
Mine's $52.95. That is a 30% difference in price.
And for what? No difference.
Let's book the exact same hotel on the exact same night.
What's the name?
La Quinta Hotel, Denver.
Okay, $122.50.
$122.
Yeah.
My price is $84.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, it kind of sucks. 76% of people say that they don't want surveillance pricing. I don't know who the 24% are, but how much does spam cost for you?
So I looked up, and spam for me costs $4.79. And a few of us in here checked, and it's similar pricing. But my number is different from both of those numbers in that video. And it makes you think, what makes the price different for me versus him versus the other person that he asked? I mean, is it because of my purchasing history? Is it because of, what is it because of? And it's fascinating. And people were talking about this, and it really depends, I guess, where you are. Maybe they're tracking your IP address or whatever it is that they're tracking, this data. But people found that it is actually cheaper to book your flights if you do so from a public library. Watch. Went to the public library to save money on flights.
I tried this and it worked for me. And I always use an incognito browser and a VPN, and we got a flight for $500 cheaper from booking on the library computer. So what in the conspiracy theory is going on here?
Life hack. Maybe we should do all of our online shopping from the public library.
Go get you a library card, and then you can also go use it in New York for groceries.
People in the chat are saying that they're looking up their spam prices. Someone said it costs $4.99. Someone else said $3.72. Someone else said $3.72. $3.72, you've got a big discount. Your social credit score is really good. Whatever your data says is really good. I don't know what that says about you, but the surveillance pricing gods you're in their favor, I guess. But yeah, it's very strange. Someone else said $3.72. Wow. I mean, I guess it depends. I wonder where they're from. If your spam is 372, because now 3 different people in the chat have said 372, where are you from? And someone else in the chat said spam is 419 for me.
Justin just got 419 at the computer in here.
419 and mine's 479. Why is that? This should be illegal. And then he says only 79% of people think that this is wrong. Like, who are the other people? Like, who is for this? Is it because they think that these other people are like lower income or something and they are giving them a deal? Or is it they're charging certain kinds of people? Who are they charging more?
Yeah, I'd love to
How
see
do they
the
decide?
algorithm there because
419 in North Carolina, 499 in Arizona.
here you go. Justin has the thing set to California. That's why his is lower than it is in Stewart.
479 in Massachusetts, 479 in Texas, 449 in Ohio.
I get state to state.
372 in Ohio. Someone asked, where are you looking this up on? On Target.
Target.com.
Target.com. That's what at least they were doing in the 325 Warren, Michigan, 419 in Wisconsin, 372 in Central Florida. So 372 in Central Florida. I'm in South Florida. I'm paying 479. Like, why is that? Someone else said location in relation to distributor, maybe.
That's got it. That's got to be.
It's got to be part of it.
I'm sure there's a back end part of it that makes total sense. Maybe, hopefully.
But based on our conversation yesterday, if you didn't watch the show yesterday, we did the great burrito debate. And people online, conservative influencers mostly, are fighting about whether or not $20 is too much for a burrito. Actually, most people agree that, but people are arguing whether or not we're allowed to complain about affordability, essentially. And I said that it's harder for young people, and it was hard for me when I was younger. It's hard for everyone when you're young, right? Regardless of what generation you grew up in, it's hard. But certainly inflation does not help. And I think, the argument yesterday, not to like get back into this, but people were saying, just work hard and whatever. We're not just talking about college age students or people who just graduated from college. I mean, older people are feeling the pain at the pump and pain at the grocery store. It's not just young people who are starting out. So whatever. Anyway, if you are trying to budget, you have to look up. It depends where you live. I mean, if prices are constantly changing and nothing is fixed and the goalposts are always moving, and you could refresh your browser and get a different price, I mean, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. And with the little money that everyone has left over, some people like betting. And with prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket, people can now bet on just about anything. Sports, obviously, politics, and now current events and even natural disasters. And now Democratic senators sent a letter this week to the chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and said, please consider whether or not it's wise to let people bet on wildfires. And these are some of the questions that they asked that were being, people are betting on how long a wildfire would last, how much a wildfire could destroy, and how much a wildfire could grow by. Those are the questions. And they said this: we write to express concern regarding the disturbing news that prediction markets are now offering event contracts for individuals to bet on wildfires. Prediction markets have been enabled to expand rapidly, inviting speculation on war, political violence, disasters, and public emergencies that raise ethical and public policy concerns. And they have a point that if people can bet on whether or not a protest gets violent, would that incentivize people who bet yes to go make it violent? I mean, you can basically choose your own adventure, right? If you say, yeah, I bet that this protester is going to throw a Molotov cocktail into a federal building, like I was talking about earlier, they could go just do that and then make that reality. Same thing with wildfires. If people betting on a wildfire, continuing it for however many days, would it incentivize some people to commit arson? Is this crazy? Maybe. But people are crazy and people do crazy things for money. I really do think that people would, because people already start wildfires. These people are evil and they don't care about human life and they don't care about anything. So what is stopping people from being evil? I don't think that there is anything stopping them.
There was a story a couple of years ago about, I think it was the Super Bowl. Guy bet on a guy bet that there would be a streaker at the Super Bowl,
And
did
then
it himself.
Right.
Got sent to Super Bowl jail and fined whatever, a couple $1,000s, but he won 10x whatever he was fined. So
Interesting. I wonder why I mean, couldn't whatever betting platform he was using crack down on that and say
probably. And I know
Yeah.
that the Kalshis
like
and
you're
the
not
poly
getting this
markets-
money.
The Kalshis and the poly markets of the world say you're not allowed to influence the result. But, whatever.
Right. But that people are dumb. So are they reading the
course.
fine print? No. I think some people are gambling because, they're addicted to it and they don't really care about the consequences, or they don't care, So it is an interesting point. I hate to side with Democrats, but sometimes when they're right, I guess. I kind of agree with this. I'm not a betting woman. So I'm usually in the camp of small government and no regulation. But at some point, I mean, don't you think that there should be a stipulation where and maybe there is, if you influence the outcome, should you be able to be slapped on the wrist for that? And
There's
I
100%
think
a stipulation.
Yeah.
I know because I didn't want to cross it in betting on some political things that I may have insider. I mean, if like Dan were to go bet on Kalshi about who was going to get indicted next,
Right.
he wouldn't be able to win the money.
Right, of course.
They would revoke it and ban him permanently.
Right.
So
Exactly. So
that's already a thing, but arsons are harder to track down and a little more dangerous. It's not just the gambling that's the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is an interesting topic. But this next thing, I said people do crazy things for money. And this steakhouse called Class Steakhouse is offering a nudist experience. And this is their idea of classy. It is crazy that the steakhouse is called Class Steakhouse. It's also weird because it's spelled Class C period, L period, A period, S period, S period, as if it's an acronym. But I went to their website and I don't see that class stands for anything. I think they just decided to get a little funky with it, I guess.
So South Florida.
For the aesthetics.
So South Florida.
I guess class actually means class. And you'd be shocked at what this steakhouse actually looks like. And I'll show you. But I'm just going to tell the chat, behave yourself. Okay? Chat, I need everyone to just be on their best behavior for this story. Here's the headline. Nude dining launches at South Florida Steakhouse. Yes, it's legal. And I just want to show you, because you're probably thinking, what kind of a steakhouse is this? And this is the kind of experience that I think they're providing regardless of it being nudist night. Watch.
Girls' night has a whole new meaning. Birthdays, bachelorettes, celebrations, or just because. Gather your girls and experience a night of luxury, flavor, and unforgettable vibes at Class Soiree Steakhouse.
They have a really weird idea of class. That is not my idea of class, which is why I was wondering what class stood for. CLASS as the acronym, like they say. I don't know what it would stand for, but it's certainly not the definition that we know.
So it's just a strip club that serves steak.
Well, not really. It was a steakhouse, and now they're appealing to that kind of an audience. Yes, but it's not. It's not a strip club. They're encouraging scantily clad women to dine there, and men. You can go on a date naked.
Don't eat naked.
Don't eat naked.
It's insane.
Especially hot food. Like, I feel like there's going to be some injuries here. People getting burnt
it's just,
somewhere.
Yeah, this is brutal.
So here's the details of the event. On the first Monday of every month, Class Soiree Steakhouse, located in Hollywood, Florida, holds an event or an evening where diners are allowed to partake in a yummy meal without wearing any clothes. Chef and owner Murad Ali came up with the concept as a way to attract new business and generate some buzz. Like, how much more business can this bring in? People are like, oh, I've been looking for this gap in the market.
That's the biggest thing. Who is this for? Who is this audience that is like, finally?
Sluts.
It's so bad.
So
bad.
The chef says that there is a market for this kind of experience, believe it or not, and the staff are well-trained and respectful of their customers. Tickets are $250 for men, $150 for women, and $300 for couples. And they say it's a 5-star experience dripping with class and elegance. I don't like the word dripping. I just don't. I don't like this. So it says, once you walk through the door, I'll most likely be nude, no clothes on. So when you feel comfortable, when you come in, you can feel more comfortable. That's the hostess speaking. So the hostess walks in and says, don't worry, we're in this together. We're in this together. And so people probably have questions about cleanliness. I had questions about cleanliness. Not that I'm interested in attending, but I was wondering what they're doing to protect people's nether regions. And it says that the nude dining experience is optional. You don't have to be nude, but just be prepared if you're going on the first Monday of every month. You will see some naked people. And you are provided with a robe, a soft lap towel, and a seat cover / cushion upon arrival. Your naked hostess provides you with a robe. People in the chat are saying no thank you.
It should be a no thank you from everybody.
It should be.
This is down for those of you who are Florida residents. It is in Hollywood, Florida, and it's near the beach, like so South Florida.
It's a Miami type vibe.
Well, clearly.
Miami, Fort Lauderdale, just gross. Someone in the chat said, can I take you on a date? No. Nope. Unless it's ripping down flock cameras. No. Someone was asking, is this legal? And according to the spokesperson for the city of Hollywood, Florida, yes, it's legal. It's legal because the staff members working are clothed. But the hostess has already said that she's stripping down. So is that true? Is it true if the people serving the food are clothed?
There's no reason. At the end of the day, there's no reason to be doing this.
No, of course not. There's no reason. This body positive influencer did a video and I'm not going to show it because it's inappropriate. And she's naked. Anyway, she said she's showing herself eating French onion soup fully nude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like,
crazy.
It's real. It's fake food, but it's normal steakhouse dining, naked.
It doesn't even look like normal steakhouse dining. I'm going to tell you, this is the people who think that this is classy are classless. They should rename the steakhouse to Classless Soiree Steakhouse.
There you go.
Should rename it to Hedonism Steakhouse.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Someone else said gross in the chat. Everyone's in the agreement that it's disgusting.
Glad everybody aligns on this.
Well, we have a classy bunch that watch Scrolling with Hayley, of course. My viewers and audience members are top tier members of society. So, all right, last two things that I have. These are sort of in the vein of Am I the A-hole? So let's do this one first. This woman went on TikTok and said that she's bringing her daughter to her dentist appointment, and her daughter had a request. Watch.
I'm taking my 17-year-old daughter tomorrow to get her wisdom teeth removed, and she informed me that she wants her boyfriend to come with us. When did these kids start inviting friends, boyfriends to surgical events? I was like, you're getting your wisdom teeth removed. You're going under. You're being sedated. This is a procedure. I will be pacing in the waiting room, waiting for you. She's like, well, he wants to come. He wants to be there and be a support. Everybody's doing it. I'm like, who's everybody? Who's inviting other people to their surgeries? Like penciling them in. Like, come next week, I'm having my rotator cut. Like, who's doing that? She's like, well, the twins each invited one of their best friends to go to their wisdom teeth removal, and they invited somebody. And so I was like, what is this? A quinceanera? I'm so confused with what's happening right now. Are your kids inviting other kids to their wisdom teeth removals? Because apparently it's a thing, and I am the last one to know. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? This is what? This is what we're doing now. Okay. Got it.
So I'm on the mom's side. I'm on the mom's side completely. You don't need to bring you're 17 years old. What is your boyfriend doing at the doctor's office with you?
I remember in high school, I mean, I'm sure you do too, but there's always those high school couples that just did everything together.
Yeah, it's
went
annoying.
On vacation together. And so I remember some people maybe doing this, but I would never.
I don't know if this is because I'm independent to a fault, but people really have a problem with codependency now. People don't do anything by themselves. It's okay. I have a friend like this. When we were living in New York together, she was like, let's go grocery shopping together, always. And I'm like, who cares? Like, it doesn't work for my schedule to go when you're going. So I already went. And she's like, it was like I betrayed her, that I went grocery shopping without her. And we're not in a romantic relationship. Like, this was just, we're friends. And that's when I realized I am much more independent than other people. And I wouldn't say that going to the grocery store by yourself makes you independent, but that was just an example that came to mind. But people in the comment section of this video are really hating on the mom. They think the mom is in the wrong, saying she probably just wants her boyfriend there instead of her judgmental mom. And if I had to get my wisdom teeth out, I'm definitely bringing my boyfriend. Someone else said, wouldn't your husband go with you to have surgery? I understand they're teenagers, but if it helps keep her calm, who cares? Why is this a problem for you? People are like, this is such a non-issue. My boyfriend is also coming with me to get my wisdom teeth out. Sure, they can come, but what are they going to do? Sit in the waiting room? Like, how is this helpful? So, okay, people in the chat are saying, nope, mom is right, and that's effing crazy. I agree. I think this is so bizarre. If I was getting my wisdom teeth out in high school, my mom, and also it's not like she's desperate for someone to drive her there and back. Her mom is taking her there and back and is going to wait for her. It's not like she's like, I have to bring my boyfriend. And the person who commented, would you bring your husband to a surgery? Like, completely wrong. Of course you bring your husband to the surgery. That they're your emergency contact. Your boyfriend in high school is not your emergency contact.
You got your wisdom teeth out, right?
Yes, but I was 23 years old.
That's so old for that.
Too old.
I got
what some would argue too old. And I shouldn't have waited that long, because then I was a fully grown adult and I had to pay for it myself.
Right. I got mine out. Maybe early college.
Who did you bring with you?
My mom. She was great. She dropped me off, picked me up. I didn't succumb to the anesthesia quite like some people do. I was
either.
fully sentient afterwards. Probably could have driven home. I didn't, but I was very with it. Maybe she's bringing the boyfriend just to make sure she doesn't say anything crazy to mom.
That is the only explanation I can get behind. However, when I got my wisdom teeth out, I was living in New York City, very walkable city. I walked. My oral surgeon was a few blocks away from my apartment. It was great. He also did a wonderful job. I didn't have any issues. I felt no pain. It was honestly an incredible experience. People complain about it. I had no qualms about it, other than paying thousands of dollars for it. But it's fine. It's fine. But I walked home because I could. It didn't impact me that much either. And my roommate walked with me. But she just walked over. It was like 3 blocks away, and I walked home.
You New Yorkers are built different. Goodness. You tell these stories like it's super casual. Yeah, I got my wisdom teeth out and then I walked home.
I don't know. We're built different. But I was very nervous about saying something wrong when I got my wisdom teeth out. Not that I mean, what would I say? Like, I'm 23 years old and I was living with my friend. I mean, there was nothing that I could have said that would have, I don't know.
Could have revealed a secret crush.
No, there's nothing like that. And I was just nervous because you see all of these horror stories on social media, like Daniel after dentist, that viral video of the kid after the oral surgery. And you see these people come out of anesthesia and they're flirting with the doctor. They don't remember their mom. They don't remember their husband or whatever. And I just didn't want to say something stupid. And I was so nervous and so worked up about saying something stupid that I ended up coming out of anesthesia and I asked the nurse, did I say something stupid? And she looked over at me and she said, that was the first thing you've said. I was like, nice. We got it in and out without any damage to my reputation. And I love that. So I think that this mom is not the a-hole in the situation. I think everyone else is being weird. So I'm on the mom's side, but it's crazy to see the comments on that video. I mean, she is like public enemy number 1. Everyone's mad. They're like, this isn't a big deal. Let her bring her boyfriend.
Feels like a pretty reasonable thing to say. No, this is a surgery and you don't need Bryce, who you're dating for the past 2 months, to come with you.
Also, see your boyfriend later. Can't he just come to the house and bring you ice cream and support you?
So true. I didn't even think of that as an option. See?
Like, why does he have to come to
Mom
the
wins.
doctor? Yeah. Anyway, mom is in the right. All these other people are nuts and they have codependency problems. Thank you for watching the show today. This was a fun show. I will see you right back here on Monday. You can follow me on social media at Hayley Carania, and I'm excited to see you then. Have a great weekend. Bye.